Hello, everyone. I'm Jamie Vaughn with CCM Magazine, and today we are here with Paul and Hannah McClure from Bethel Music, and they have a brand new Christmas album out called Christmas Morning. Good morning, guys. How are you?
Morning. Doing
Good.
great.
Good. And y'all are out on the West Coast, right?
We are. We're in Redding, California, very
Okay.
north.
Yeah. So are you all in the Christmas festive spirit yet?
Oh yeah, we love Christmas. Got our tree up, listening to all the Christmas music.
The
Yeah.
Grinch every day with the kids.
So what have y'all been doing this year throughout all of this stay at home with COVID? Have you worked as artists or as ministers this year?
That's a good question. It's been weird. we were on a tour with actually with Big Daddy Weave earlier this year, and we were supposed to do like 45 dates with them, and it got cut to 15, and then we thought we were just going home for a week and haven't gone out since. So it's been interesting. We normally we travel a couple times a month, and we haven't been on a ministry trip since March.
Yeah.
So it's been nice to be home, but also like a little stir crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been good, working on a Christmas album, to be home and to be able to focus on writing and not have other trips. So it's been, as with everyone, it's been weird and good and bad and all the things.
Yeah, so you have this new album out, Christmas Morning. It's your very first Christmas album. And y'all have been really successful with Bethel. You've been featured on every single major release of theirs since 2010. And now you have a beautiful, beautiful Christmas album. I listened to it this morning, blown away by it.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
you're welcome. Adore is my favorite one. Adore him.
Awesome.
And yes, very good. So what was your inspiration behind wanting to do a Christmas album?
Yeah.
Well, we were worship leaders for a long time in a small church in North Carolina. And so our roots are, local, small church. We were always trying to find Christmas music around this time. We always did like a production of some sort, or, just always looking for Christmas songs to sing in church. And there's not a whole lot out there. If you're a worship leader, there's just not very many worshipful Christmas songs to pick from.
Yeah.
So that was kind of our inspiration when we were writing, was to write something that worship leaders could use in church around the Christmas season. That would just work in worship.
Yeah. And even, we did Oh Holy Night. Like, that is such a worship song, one of the best worship songs, and trying to make it fit in the context of a worship set or worship service. So, because we love Christmas carols, but worship leader chords don't work a lot with Christmas carols. So trying to make it
complicated.
Yeah, trying to make it accessible for worship leaders was the goal.
So is that why it is a live album, to have that worship congregational feel to it?
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, to make just to approach the Christmas story from a worship perspective, which seems obvious, but just any excuse to get our friends in a room and worship, we'll take it.
Yeah. Well, it's a great album. It's out now. What do you want people to take away from it when they listen start to finish?
I think we just want people to, in anything we do, for people to encounter Jesus. And so I think that's the main goal. And especially in the holiday season is difficult for a lot of people. It's lonely, it's sad for a lot of people, especially in this weird COVID year where everyone's isolated. And so when we were recording it, I think the thing we loved was that it felt natural and organic for our friends to be in a room worshiping and to encounter Jesus. And so we had some beautiful encounters during the recording even. And so we hope that translates to people's living rooms and to their homes and their families, that they would encounter Jesus. They would encounter hope and joy and peace and all the things that Jesus, that Emmanuel is, that they would encounter that through this album.
Yeah. So singer-songwriters, what is your favorite lyric or song you've ever written?
Oof. I'll answer what you're thinking.
Yeah,
I think High King of Heaven on this record actually is one of my favorite songs I've been a part of. We wrote it with our friend Tony Wood, who lives in Nashville. Yep. Just a songwriting legend. And he had the idea to write more of a hymn sounding Christmas song to the tune of Be Thou My Vision. So that's what High King of Heaven is.
Oh, wow.
And I think the lyrics to this, he had the verse 1 and 2 idea. And so we wrote a chorus and then that third verse together. we led it yesterday at our church, and I was like, man, this is really moving. So that's probably my favorite that I've been a part of.
Yeah. I think I love We Only Have One. That was on our last album, The Way Home. I mean, I love all the moving worshipful songs, but then I also love songs that have kind of a pop fun element to them.
Mm-hmm.
And that song is one of them where it's just fun, poppy, really catchy. I love those kind of songs, and that's the one that comes to mind right now.
Yeah. So if you turn that question around, is there a song or a lyric that you wish you had have written that someone else did?
Oh man, lots of them.
Have you that movie Yesterday? Have you seen that?
No, I haven't, but probably Beatles.
Basically, yeah, he gets to write all the Beatles songs, and no one's ever heard them. So that's like the dream of every songwriter. I mean, as far as worship or Christian music, like How He Loves is just one of those songs that I'm like, man, it's so easy and simple, but so beautiful. And I think there's not a person alive that hasn't had an encounter to that song. Yeah. So that's one of them for me, for sure.
I know. I love all the simple ones like Our God Reigns, or just things that you're like, oh, why couldn't I have thought of that? It's just like a few lines, but it's so powerful.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Is there a message of hope that you'd want to leave our viewers as we wrap this interview up?
Yeah, I think, as far as like listening to Christmas music or our Christmas album, I think our hope is that we created some fresh language for the story of Jesus and his birth. I think it's easy to kind of get familiar with, just the whole story and the language behind it. But our hope was that we could kind of tell the story in a new way, and that people could think of Jesus, being born and being like, wow, heaven came to earth for me to, die for me and save me. So just kind of getting a fresh perspective and fresh revelation on who Jesus is, and that he came to save us, and just the hope that comes with that.
Well, I love that. So Paul and Hannah, thank you so much for talking to us today. And everyone, make sure you go download, buy wherever you can, Christmas Morning by Paul and Hannah McClure. And guys, we're so excited for you and can't wait to see what God does with this album for you.
Amazing. Thank you so much.